Tony Dunn from the C3 Panthers Podcast here to react to Matt Rhule's press conference explaining his decision to move on from offensive coordinator, or now former offensive coordinator, Joe Brady. Let's go ahead and see what he's got to say about this decision. I can tell you one thing, is this is a look right here of a man who is struggling. That's a struggle bus look. I can tell you this, is that is a look that you don't want to be here doing this right now. Not looking much better. You know, I thought my audio was broke. I had to shut this video down and then restart it to think. Look at this. Painful, awkward. We are now 17 seconds in with no sound. This is really awkward. What is he doing? He's just looking around, gathering his composure. I've never seen something like this from Panthers media. Even the media team
good to see you.
Falling apart.
You know, last Monday after the Miami game and talking to you guys, I know, Joe, you asked, and a couple of the guys asked, plans for the bye week and will we make any changes, anything like that. At the time, I said, I think I told you guys I felt it was appropriate to take some time during the beat week, go back, really think about where we are in the process, what we need to do.
Did he call it the beat week?
Go back and watch the tape, watch the practices, and make a clear-headed decision. Planned on meeting with Joe on Saturday. He wasn't available Saturday, so I sat down with Joe yesterday.
You got ghosted
on Sunday. Informed him that I was going to go in a different direction, that I was going to, relieve him of his duties as offensive coordinator. Joe's an unbelievable person, excellent young coach, and a consummate professional, to be quite honest with you. He shook my hand, thanked me. We ended with a hug, and I wish him the best. And
hug it out. I'll be there with you soon.
He's done a lot to get us moving in the right direction, but this was something that I felt like, from a football perspective, we needed to do now. So as we move forward, I'm going to count on our offensive staff to be very focused day by day, week by week. Everyone's kind of assigned an area previously, third down, red zone to game plan and kind of be in charge of. So they'll continue to be in those areas. Jeff Nixon will assume responsibility, the duties of the offensive coordinator position. He'll call the plays Baylor in conjunction with those guys.
Big surprise.
Obviously, as with everything in the organization, I'll oversee those guys and hope that we can play our best football as we move forward. So I know you guys will have a lot of questions about that. I hope you'll understand.
I'm going to pause it right here. For one thing I want to know is, you sent him a message, he didn't answer. So then you caught up with him the next day? This is crazy. Joe Brady said, sorry, I am not available to get fired. Actually, that's cool. I'm going to give Joe Brady some props. If you're going to be late to the party, be late to the one you get fired at, right? It's kind of like being late to your own funeral. That's the place. That's the time to be late.
And, out of respect for Joe, I probably won't go into tremendous detail. This was just something, as hard as it is, that I felt like was right for us right now. So with that, I'll answer whatever questions you have.
All right, let's go to Skylar Callahan, followed by Nicholas. Good morning.
Hey, Matt, just talking about Jeff Nixon. You've had, obviously, some history with him. Do you feel like this could maybe be like a 5-game audition for him to maybe assume that role full-time moving forward?
Yeah, I told Jeff this is about this week. We need to do everything we need to do to beat the Atlanta Falcons.
5-game audition, Jeff, bro. We auditioning for college.
This guy's been a running back coach. He's been an assistant special teams coach. He's been a tight ends coach. He's been an offensive coordinator at the college level. So he's a good football coach, a very steadying personality. He'll pick up the mantle and run with it. But, to me, this is just about this week. However long it lasts, it lasts. I think all of us in the organization, we've had some ups and downs. Obviously, we have to just be really, really focused on each week. So this is for him to do right now. And then, the future will be the future.
Matt, when you were looking at things over the week, what was kind of the main thing you landed on when you were coming to your decision, and why make it now with 5 weeks left?
Well, I think the decision was made, and so I didn't see any reason to wait. I felt that this was the right move, and it was just purely football. I think that this was in the best interest of us moving forward. I feel like we can play better on offense. That's not about any one person or any one thing, but I just feel like this was the best way that I can help us move this forward offensively. And as
this
I said,
is a move of self-preservation,
the coaches
folks.
that we have, the players that we have. We've got to coach our best and play our best these coming weeks. But I thought with the bye week that this was the appropriate time.
Pause right there. When he's asked about why I made the decision now, he clearly said the decision was made. Right, so right now we know this is that the seat for Matt Rhule has been heating up, and that is surprising given the kind of confidence that we all kind of had in him and going into this season, and displayed by Tepper with that big contract. But it has been so bad, folks. It has been so horrific, the Panthers season so far, and just the ineptitude that has kind of become a cloud over this organization. There is no way you were going to run it back again with this staff intact as it is. And frankly, at this point, I'm starting to feel like I'd be surprised if the Carolina Panthers run it back with Matt Rhule again. But here's the deal, is Matt Rhule knew that he had to do something. And there was only, as one person hit me up on Twitter, was a great comment, there's only so much room in the lifeboat. And so it's time somebody had to get tossed overboard. And this was a move of self-preservation by Matt Rhule to show Tepper that he at least is willing to do something drastic to get this sucker moving in the right direction.
All right, let's go to Joe Person, followed by Jonathan Alexander.
Hey, Matt, I know on the bye week you had said all you guys were, and you also, I guess, were going to be kind of gone and out of the building. Just kind of when and where you kind of reached the decision.
The exact date I don't know. I mean, I kind of
I was at Burger King.
Came out of the game with some
Sorry,
feelings
we're
and just
sponsored by Bojangles.
in a lot of different areas, and just took the week to go back and watch tape and think about it, and kind of finalized a decision later in the week.
My man's on quality control week.
By waiting
Brady
kind of
go.
later in the week, did that kind of hurt in terms of giving Jeff a head start on kind of getting things organized and so forth?
No.
I told
everyone
him.
had projects to do last week, so everyone got their stuff done, and we're not changing what we are or what we're doing. We're just
Good God, I wish you would.
We have our offense, we have our installations. It's just about.
He actually looks better than I expected him to at this point.
Matt, did you? How much of a factor was the fact that you all couldn't run the ball play into why you felt like you needed to go in a different direction?
Just overall football-wise, when you said we couldn't run the ball, you talking about this past game, or?
I'm talking about probably like the last 5 weeks where you talked about wanting to run the ball 33 times, and I think only one game being able to reach that. One or two games.
Twice. No, it's a good point. I think it's all comes together in the same. It's all part of one big thing. It's not
this
any one
staff
thing.
seemed
It's just
disjointed from the beginning.
Kind of, the vision of how we think we need to play and where we'll be moving forward.
And what is that, if you can say?
Just what you said. We want to be a team that can run the football, but obviously we can't throw multiple.
You want a job, Jonathan?
Pass. Whatever we do, we have to just do it at a higher level. And again, that's not about any one guy. It's just we have to play better on offense. And but it's I'm not going to boil this down to one specific thing, right? If it was one
Basically,
specific thing,
I don't know what to
It's
do.
just,
I'm doing
overall,
anything
so
I
this was the
can
move that I felt like
to
we had
make
do.
this look like I know what I'm doing.
Let's go to Chris Jenkins, followed by Will Palachi.
Hey, Coach, I'm assuming you've met with the new team or offensive coaching staff, so to say, and I just wondered if you provided any points of emphasis that you wanted for them in terms of the direction of the offense.
Yeah, I get up in front of the team every week. I get with the staff every week. We detail as a collaborative effort, but led by me in terms of how we think we're going to play that week. How we want to.
We want to play fast. We want to play physical. We want to be alpha males.
Emphasis, players to attack, keys to victory.
That guy over there with that fade. Get the hell out of here, Joe Brady.
Knows it at a pretty high level. It's hard. It's easy to say. It's hard to do. Chris, there's they have things on their end too. So So I mean, we know exactly. Hey, this is who we want to be. You know,
Who
I
is
think
that?
everyone here knows who we want to be. I mean,
Who is that?
It's not
Tell
like
us.
there's like a major philosophical shift. It's just we just got to push ourselves in a direction of better execution, and then each week we'll bring a kind of a different game plan within the same overall strategy, and we'll try to execute it. So we have a good feel for who we are this week. We're starting on Atlanta. Obviously we've lost Christian's a big deal. You have some O-line issues.
You think?
So we'll
you
have to
say?
work through all that as the next couple of days come out.
And if you could just touch on what made Jeff the right guy for the rest of the season for this.
He's the only
just
one.
what I said before. I think he's a calm, steadying influence. He has experience as a coordinator. There's lots of guys that could, would be good at this role. I wanted to keep, Sean in the quarterback room, full time. So I think that's important for us right now. I think, Jeff is a guy that collaborates well with each other. And I think the one thing that sometimes gets lost out there in the world is, I think on any staff, even as they get ready for a game, as they script out play calls and all those things, it's really a collaborative effort. All that being said, I'm never going to, BS you guys. So, I gave one guy that, that overarching ownership of things, and he has to do a good job. So,
not going to BS you guys. Really, I just wonder if this is a lot
Matt,
on
I
Joe
had
Brady
two. I'll go
not
one at a
getting it
time.
done.
First, how, with Jeff in place,
He needed to be
will
more
your role
involved in that
change
role.
at all on game day in terms of play calling? Like, will you have a greater emphasis on that, or will that just kind of be left up to Jeff?
No, I think, like I said, I think Ellis asked me that a couple weeks ago. I think everything that happens on game days, my responsibility. So if there's something I don't like, I'll say it. Or if I say, hey, let's get to this, both offense, defense, special teams wise. Chase comes up with a great punt fake, but we don't call a punt fake without me saying, hey, let's run. I'm good with it. Let's run it right now. So my job's to orchestrate the game. Some games things go according to plan, some games don't. I think, as a staff, we can continue to work to be better in terms of adapting in game to what people are doing to us. But it's Monday. We have a long way till Sunday, so we have a lot of work to do in terms of,
It'll be here before you
flow of
know
this
it.
game and all that.
And you'll be up here
And secondly,
crying again.
is there something specific, or what specifically are you hoping to get out of Jeff's leadership and tutelage that you weren't getting out of Joe Brady?
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about Joe. I want Jeff and the offensive staff to help us score points. That's the end of the day. I mean, we want to win football games. Defensively, I think we're playing well enough most times to win. We got to score more points on offense. And
was Joe Brady your guy? That's what we
so it
need to
starts with the
ask.
coaches
Come
and,
on,
players have to go out and execute it.
David Newton. Let's go to David Newton.
Let's go to David Newton, followed by Ellis Williams.
Here it comes.
Hey, Matt, I was wondering, in hindsight, how much of Joe's inexperience as a play caller was a factor in your decision?
Nothing about anything in the past. When I took the job, I decided to, I decided to be bold and step outside my comfort zone, and someone that I knew, and went in a different direction. I went with Joe, and I certainly don't look at that as a mistake. I think what Joe did the first year, dealing with COVID and installing a whole new system. We obviously had some turnover at the quarterback position. I think. I look at Joe's time here as I see all the good things that he did.
David Newton, the best question so
far. You get to
far.
a time such as this, and it's time to move in another direction and continue the evolution and the process of building forward. And I'll just say it again. I think Joe's going to have a fantastic career. Sometimes the worst things that happen to you are the best, and I'm grateful for his time here. So
Inexperience.
He's done a
told you
lot
guys.
at a young age. He's got a lot more to do, and he'll do a lot of great things. I wanted to go outside and be bold and be aggressive, and I think we've had a lot of good moments, and there's a lot of good things that are in the system that we'll build off of moving forward.
You say go outside your comfort zone. You mean, can you explain that a little bit more?
Like I said, hiring someone that didn't have much history with, hiring someone with a different system than I knew, and I'm glad that I did it. I think Joe brought a lot to us, and there's a lot here embedded in place that we're going to continue to build off of. So
I know y'all don't like it when I say it, but David
Joe's
Newton
good
is the
football
best
coach,
reporter
so I
right
appreciate
now.
his time here.
Ask him the good questions.
Matt, aside from the change at OC, it sounds like you guys took the bye week to self-scout and learn some things about yourself. What did you learn about the offense, and what do you think you guys are doing well that you hope Jeff can build upon now?
Ellis, to be quite honest, usually when I self-scout, I look at all the things we're not doing well. I think some of our run game has really improved. Maybe not the volume of it, but we've had some success in some areas that we hadn't had before. Obviously, last Sunday was such a bad game, such a tough game that,
True.
Until you play another game, you're kind of in that mode. I feel like one of the biggest areas for us to improve as we move forward is just our third quarter offense. We've scored 18 points all year. We had a punt blocked. So I think, we come out to start games. We've had more success early in the game than we do later in the game. So, and that's really true for us, to be quite honest with you, on defense as well. I think you asked me after the game, hey, were they flat? I'll be honest, I didn't feel any sense of flat. I think Miami played a really good game against us, and they were really physical, and
they beat us up.
So I think one of the areas that we can improve as a team is just coming out of the half, how we are in the third quarter, and that's been true for a while now. We've talked a lot about it, and it resonated and all that. So, it's maybe not as bad. It's not great on defense, but certainly on offense, 18 points isn't great. So, I think that's a point of emphasis for us. Red zone defense is a point on defense. Offensively, there's in the last 5 games we've done some good things on third down up until the last game. So, I think the passing game in general, we have a lot of work to do. To just clean some things up.
Ain't that the truth?
Obviously, when you have the changeover we've had at quarterback, 3 quarterbacks have played. That's
now
not a recipe for success in the National Football League. So there's a lot that we have to just kind of isolate right now, and we have 5 games to improve, and we have 5 days to get ready for this game.
And speaking of the quarterback changes, and can you speak at all to the relationship Cam and Jeff have and what they're going to be focused on this week in practice?
Yeah, I mean, Cam's relationship is really with Sean. I think Sean's done a good job of introducing him to that. He's worked with him a lot last week as well. So there's a lot to make sure that Cam is ready to go next week.
Poor Cam.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to Darren
situation.
Gant, followed by Joe Person.
Matt, the last time we talked to you, you kind of alluded to the possibility of, maybe some PJ. Have you got a clearer view after a week of looking at things on what the role is? Is it Cam and just Cam, or how are you going to utilize that position?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to delve too much into that today on Monday, maybe a little bit more on Wednesday.
I don't know, really. I don't want to give any away schematics. We don't want to talk about scheme or anything like that. Don't want to give the opponent advantage.
You're trying to win games. I mean, you have faith in him. I also have a lot of faith in Cam and the direction he's headed. So, we'll finish the Atlanta game plan and see where we are.
Matt, did you consult with Dave on this decision, and have you had discussions with him about the direction of the program?
I talk to Dave all the time. I wouldn't say this was my decision. I obviously let him know. I'm not going to, not tell the owner. But Dave's been very supportive of, just say whatever, what you think is best. And to me and Scott, kind of in all areas, I think he's an excellent owner in that regard.
It's getting punishing now.
All right, let's go to Jonathan Alexander, followed by J.B. Riggs.
Forgive me for not knowing, but Matt, are you all under Jeff Nixon and the rest of the offensive style? Are you all running the same offense, or does the offense have to learn a little bit more of a different type of style? I think because of Cam, coming in new and things like that.
Yeah, no, just what I said before. We're going to keep doing the same things. Just what we know. How exactly you do that. I mean, obviously, within the system, there's a lot of flexibility, but we're not going to go in veer in a different direction. So I think it's just, to me, more about us doing what we're doing better.
Hey, Coach, JB Riggs here from Spectrum News 1. I appreciate you taking out this time. I'm just curious about the process of informing your players, specifically your offense, and what their reaction was. Did you sense any rejuvenation or still maybe a little bit of confusion on how to get things working? What was the sense of the players' reactions to this decision?
They don't really.
I think you'd probably have to ask them a little bit more in terms of, I think everybody's got a different reaction. I don't think it's one global one. I don't think anyone was, excited or enthusiastic or anything about someone losing their job. I mean, I think all of us in this world understand just how tenuous it is.
This is true.
Coaches, players, staff, everybody. So none of us like any part of this. In terms of moving forward, I think the message very simply is we have, all of us, we have to play well enough to win. We have to coach well enough to win.
Or else
we have to be humbly focused on every single game, and we have to get rid of all of the, sort of the, hey, we're going to be more urgent this week. Hey, we're going to be more accountable this week. Just everybody's got to go out and play well. You can talk about urgency and accountability all you want, and then you get beat on a, like a pass rush, or you make the wrong call on the hash. It just comes down to doing your job at a high level, and it's not easy to do your job.
Fired, bro.
A lot of times you try to do your job, and the other guy does his, but it just comes down to football. And so,
do your job.
The very first time I got here, that's all I talked about was being a serious football place. That's all football, and
and we have
these days are hard, but hopefully it just continues to push it towards, hey, we're here, we got to play well, we got to win, and that's for all of us.
All right, we have time for a few more. Let's go to Steve Reed and finish up with David Newton.
What you got, Steve?
Hey, Matt. Obviously, losing Christian's a big blow, and also Dante. I guess we've seen what you're probably going to do with Christian coming back. Can you kind of elaborate? What different guys might have there, and who will take over cornerback there with Dante up?
Obviously we have Chuba and Amir. We have a couple guys on practice squad, Spencer and Reggie. And obviously Reggie's a guy who's played a lot of football, so I think we have a good feel for what will be
Reggie
a
Bonifant, bring him back. He'll save our team.
On defense, we've been playing a lot of guys at corner, but C.J. Henderson's really come a long way. Been playing Keith Taylor, A.J. Boye, Steph Gilmore. Rashawn Melvin's a guy that I love when he's out there. I think he's a good, tough, sturdy, physical football player. I love the way Rashawn plays, and he broke his hand, cast it up, and he's available. So it'll just be all those guys stepping up.
Death kiss, death blow.
You don't want to name a starter there yet?
On Monday, no.
Corner.
No, I can't do that. I'm sorry.
I don't even know if I'll be coaching on Sunday.
On your quarterback, could you remind us that PJ's 2-0 as a starter? Is the plan still to start Cam and then play both of them, or could there be a different plan there?
I don't. Yeah,
like I said, I just probably don't without game planning and don't want to give too much away, obviously, to Atlanta. So I think we'll go through the next couple of days, and on Wednesday I'll probably have a better feel for you. But
what have you been doing all week,
certainly
bro?
Anticipate Cam still starting. I think he's. I don't think anyone played real well last game, but I think he's doing a lot of good things. So I think the question really is, would PJ have a role? And that's up in the air right now.
Okay, thanks.
Man, even your favorite son is getting thrown under the bus.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, folks, that is Matt Rhule addressing the media after his decision to move on from Joe Brady. What I'd like for you guys to do is jump in that chat, in the conversation, the chat box below, or the comment section, I should say, and let me know what you want to ask Matt Rhule, what you think about the firing of Joe Brady, and was he the sacrificial lamb? Will Matt Rhule be next, right, is a big question going forward for me. We're going to be talking about all those things on the C3 Panthers Podcast, which is live on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere you get it. My final impression of this press conference is, one, is I thought that Matt Rhule looked a little bit more composed than I expected him to look, as usually he looks just beaten and battered, or at least he has in these kind of tougher moments. Two, very interesting to me that he really wasn't able to converse with Joe Brady on Saturday, and that this was saved for Sunday, given the fact that the news came out on Sunday. I'd like to hear a little bit from Joe Brady about how that process went and if it was as cordial and amicable as Matt Rhule discussed. Three, to me, this is just a move that had to be done, a move of self-preservation for Matt Rhule, is that really he's hanging on by a thread at this point, folks, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I'd like to know, if I was going to ask him a question, it would be, how do you, as someone who has talked about doing the things the right way, the brand, building the brand, this isn't going to get fixed overnight. How is it that you have, how do you feel that this move speaks towards stepping in that direction? And why is it that you've been so quick to change directions based on the wind. I mean, it is like, we're going this way. Run the ball, pass the ball, trick play, put McCaffrey on the bench, bring him back in. Right now, it feels like a guy who is treading water, desperately and frantically trying to keep his head up. So right now, the lifeboat's got some holes in it, folks. We've been casting people off the side of it, whether it be Christian McCaffrey to IR, Dante Jackson to IR. Questions are these ways of him throwing some blocks up Matt Rhule to preserve himself. And today, or on Sunday, finally Joe Brady cast off, right? The question is, how long will Matt Rhule be able to paddle this boat by himself? And will he be paddling into the 2022 season? Right now, things do not look promising. We talk about a steadying, where he talked about how Jeff Nixon had a steady personality, one that wasn't panicked. And right now, I thought that this ultimately seems like Matt Rhule has hit a point where he is fighting for his job. And it was Joe Brady or him, or they're going to die together. And Matt Rhule decided to chunk him off the lifeboat. So we'll see, and we'll break that down tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on the C3 Panthers Podcast. Go ahead and sub up if you like this type of content. If you're a Panthers fan, hit the thumbs up button if you thought this was the right move. Hit the thumbs up button if you think the Carolina Panthers should fire Matt Rhule. Get in the comments section if you're one of the few people that believes that Matt Rhule will be coaching in 2022, and tell me why. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. We'll be covering this all the way, and we're going to stick together, folks. You'd rather be in our lifeboat than in Matt Rhule's. See you tomorrow night.